Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So channel members, keep an eye open because there's going to be a post over on the community tab section that's going to outline some of the series that we have coming up. So this way you guys know what's happening. If you're interested in channel memberships, that link will be in the description box below. Over on the new channel, there's a subliminal that was scheduled out for this morning, so it should be up. I think it is up. And it is for heart opening and release and opening up to love. If you're interested in that, the link for that's in the description box as well. So let's go ahead and let's begin. Taking a step aside and allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. Wow, that's very specific. Okay. How do I want to go about explaining this? Okay. So, I feel like whoever this message is for, right now, there's not a lot going on. Like, you might have a lot of ideas, you might be thinking about things, but right now, physically and in your 3D, there may not be a whole lot going on. You may feel even like there's a little bit of a block in doing certain things right now, like you just aren't able to move through it and you aren't able to get through it. You may be noticing that right around now, some like childhood stuff is coming up. And I don't necessarily mean negative things, it's just children, childhood, you know, thinking about the inner child, just thinking about children characters. I don't know why that's how, I don't know, I'm not asking questions. So there's just something about children and childhood and that whole state of innocence that keeps coming up. That's how you're going to know that this reading might be for you, okay? For some of you, I actually feel that this is gonna happen in the next few days, and so when that happens, just come back to this video. If you're not going to watch this video, just come back to it. One of the things that I'm being given here inside this energy is that there's something about discovering something from the childhood or from that childlike energy. It's like it's trying to give us something. It's trying to hand something over. There's something that we lost that we have to find, and this is important for, and I'm seeing like a King of Wands figure over to my right. It's like it's important for this next phase that's very fiery. I do know that there's something with that with the astrology. Yes, I'm just going to say that. But overall, there's something very fiery in the energy that's kind of coming up, and I almost feel it like towards the end of January. I'm feeling like this very fiery sort of energy. And when I say fiery, what I'm talking about is action-oriented, really going after the thing. For some of you, it might be a little bit more of a tumultuous period, but you can work that to your advantage. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. There's something here that we have to discover from a deep layer of ourselves to prepare for that. And it almost feels like being ready for like the diving board, like being ready for a moment in time when we could really achieve a lot, right? Where we could really maximize what it is that we're trying to do for ourselves in whatever area of our life that might happen. So this is one reason why we seem to be needing to retrieve this thing from this inner child aspect. And here's the thing. Here's the bulk of the reading. There's some sort of story that we gravitated towards as children, okay? Right off the bat, I don't know why 3 came up to mind, and it was Peter Pan, Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, and I never really got into any of them as a kid, so for some reason those are what came up. But there's some sort of story that we gravitated towards children, and if we take a moment, whoever this message is for, this isn't a truth, it's not like a blanket fact, it's for whoever this message is for, you're going to recognize that the themes, not the storyline, the themes, right? So I'll talk about that a little bit. From this story have repeated through our life. It's like we gravitated towards it because on a subconscious level we recognized ourselves in it, right? It mirrored some soul level story that we've been enacting probably through a couple of lifetimes. So for example, maybe the characters inside of this story really, if you sat and looked at it, they might remind you of people that you've experienced and that were really important inside of your life that may have been detrimental to your own story, right? The villains inside of the stories may be a similar type of villain or archetype that you keep encountering inside of your regular life. It's like the story has transposed, or it's something that at a very young seedling level we recognized was us. We saw ourselves in the story even if we didn't know that at the time. So the reason why this seems to be important is because there's something about that story that we have to retrieve, right? We have to go back to the story. There's some truth about the main character, or whatever character it is that we gravitated towards. There's some sort of truth about it that can show us a truth about ourselves that we really need to arm ourselves with going forward. And here's the information that just came in. Going forward in this fiery energy, you have the opportunity to change the story. So it's like the story that we liked as a child, that was a story that we gravitated towards because maybe we wanted our life to go that way, or maybe we wanted, XYZ, or maybe we saw ourselves in it, or maybe it's the same way that our lives have gone previously. But there's something that we can change, and having the power to change that and to craft the story the way that we want it to go, right? That's super powerful. That's super powerful. Okay. The Page of Swords, and it's this child clinging. Yes, do you see this? Like, see what I'm saying here with this? Swords. The swords is like communication. It's the story. It's like this child clinging to the story, and it's like we grew into it, right? We weren't big enough to grow into it yet, but we recognized something about it was important, and we wound up growing into that in some way. And what's being asked right now is that someone goes back within that childhood. We have the Page of Pentacles. This is the beginning, right? This is that new beginning. We go back into that beginning story, and we understand maybe how this has really grown and given us a certain emotional basis. Now, I'm not trying to argue like a chicken and egg thing, right? I don't know if the story is what influenced you, or if you were just gravitating towards the story. I feel that most of you gravitated towards the story because it really resonated with some aspect of soul. But for some of you, maybe the story seeded some information inside of you. Either way, it really influenced sort of the emotional energy and the vibration that we wound up manifesting inside of our lives. Or it's just a foreshadowing of the energy that would be inside of our lives. When we have this Knight of Cups, the Knight of Cups is interesting because he's like bringing forward this emotional vibration, this psychic layer in that cup, and he's leading with it. There's something about that psychic energy going before us, right? So there is a level of manifestation that's being implied inside of this reading, hence why it may be important for us to take something back, integrate that into ourselves as part of our skill set, or part of like what makes you special and makes you unique. And then this is from that platform, that wholeness, this is where you're able to rewrite your story, right? And change the story. And then this is the energy that goes before you. Some of you, when I see the Knight of Cups, for me the Knight of Cups is like the hero's hero. This is the person that kind of really speaks to me about being able to offer that security and stability to others. So for some of you, there may be an element here of the hero's journey, right? Really gravitating towards stories that were about the hero's journey. And maybe the need to look back and understand that the whole time the very thing that you needed to be the hero for was yourself, right? I actually had a conversation about this earlier this week. So that's interesting. Here we have the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is, for me right now, it's really about assessing the circular nature of that psychic energy, right? How everything's interwoven and intertwined. If you look, his hair is like that. Everything's just kind of circular and spiraling. And the Ace of Cups is that initial spark of that psychic energy. It's that initial cup, right? It's where everything begins. So there's something here about going back to the beginning, understanding the story, understanding how the story may have seeded some things, and then the energy that was going before you. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty clear cut. There's not a whole lot I have to say about this, so this reading is going to be kind of short. It's almost like a little tip and trick for somebody, like, hey, check this out. You know, maybe there's something here for you. I'm going to leave this here then. So if this resonates with you, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment, and until next time.